anymore. Anybody else feel that way? And we've got good reason to be mad. We look at our federal government. We have a president that is in office that has not learned his history lesson. See, socialism does not work. Look at the difference between North Korea and South Korea. Look at the difference between Cuba and Mexico. Look at the difference between old East Berlin and West Berlin. It doesn't work. And why doesn't it work? Because government-funded top-down programs. Anytime one program fails, the entire government fails, and it just doesn't work, and he has not learned his history lesson. And the reason that we are still in the recession that we are in, listen closely, it's not just because of one economic policy. It's not just because of one group of taxes expiring. It's because of government-generated uncertainty. Think about this. Think about this. Non-financial sector companies right now have $1.8 trillion of cash. That's 15% more than they had before the recession began in 2007. Intel brought in $700 million last quarter, which was their highest quarterly earning in a decade. Alcoa has brought in $500 million since the beginning of the year. They're not hiring. Pfizer has $26 billion, yet they're not hiring. Why are they not hiring? They're not hiring because Obamacare has pushed out debt projected to 90% of GDP. They're not hiring because the 2001, 2003 taxes are expiring in January and they can't calculate what their tax liabilities are. They're not hiring because of the potential of cap and trade, and energy companies don't understand what their tax liabilities will be. They're not hiring because of the new financial regulatory bill that was passed, has over 500 new regulatory rules in it. And you compare that to Sarbanes-Oxley, which passed in 1992 as a result of all the accounting scandals because of companies like Enron, only 16 new regulatory policies. That means the new financial regulatory bill is 30 times larger. The government is creating uncertainty, so companies are hoarding their money and they're deciding not to invest. They're deciding not to hire, and it's important for us to go in a different direction and find new leadership. We're all as mad as hell because of what's happening in our state government. We look at the fact that we have a K-12 education system that has slipped from 48 to 49th out of 50 states. We're mad because we're facing annual budget deficits of $19 billion. We're mad because we continue to engage in deficit spending. We won't fix the out-of-control pension problems that we have where cost of living adjustments go up every single year, even though the revenues in our state are going down. We're as mad as hell because we have infrastructure that's not fixed. And most importantly, special interests have grabbed, and they have them in their wraps, all of the incumbent politicians, Republicans and Democrats. And many of us have decided to step up and run for office because we're saying that we are as mad as hell and we simply are not going to take it anymore. In the midst of all this anger and all this righteous indignation, there is good news. And the good news is this, that our nation's history has been grounded in patriots that have decided that they were as mad as hell and they were not going to take it anymore. George Washington and 13 colonies decided that taxation without representation made them as mad as hell and they weren't going to take it anymore. We declared our independence from Britain. Abraham Lincoln decided that we are a nation that cannot stand as a house divided against itself. That we are a nation that's inclined to believe that all men are created equal. That we've been endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And he decided that it made him as mad as hell. And he wasn't going to take it anymore for slavery to advance into new territories. Our history is grounded in patriots that have been mad. And I want everybody here today to understand this. We will be mad, and we will be fighting mad. And we will identify every elected official that is not engaged in less taxes, constitutionally limited government, and less government spending, and we will commence to knocking them out, but not with fiery words and not simply with a balled up fist. We will knock them out with our superior genius. We will knock them out with our superior creativity. We will knock them out with our superior grassroots organizing. We will knock them out with our superior fundraising. We simply cannot curse the darkness. We must learn to light candles. Cannot get frustrated with the waters that stand in front of us, but must learn to use architectural genius and add elbow grease and stick-to-itness and learn to build bridges over to the other side. And this I know well, that when we learn to use our anger in a constructive way, that over history we have proven that we can get through revolution, that we can go through civil war and reconstruction, that we made it through the recession in the 1890s, through World War I, through Great Depression and World War II, that we were able to make it through Korea and Vietnam, and we will make it through this great recession because we are Americans, and that's who we are, and that's quite simply what we do. And my optimism is rooted in the identity of who we are as Americans. And that identity has given me optimism because I know that we are not quitters, that we are resilient, that our creativity, that our ingenuity, that our dogged tenacity, that our collective persistence, it informs me that if we cannot run out of our problems, we will jog, that if we can't jog, we will walk, and if we can't walk, we're committed to crawling. That if we don't have a shovel, we'll dig ourselves out with a spoon. And if not a spoon, we will dig ourselves out with our hands because that's who we are and that's what we do. We are Americans, and all of you ought to be proud of that. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Damon. We love you.